weigh-in day. It's 2 weeks, 14 days. 14 very, very hard, long days. One of the exciting things about today, and I'm hoping it comes to some sort of fruition, is that the first weigh-in for week 1, I lost 5.5 kilos, and I didn't even know it. I didn't even think that I lost 5.5 kilos. I didn't feel any different. I didn't feel like I looked any different. The clothes didn't feel any different. This week, and it pretty much started around Tuesday, things felt looser. Pants felt baggier. Clothes like this feel looser than what they did. They're still sort of wearable. They're not by any means ready to be thrown out, but they're feeling good. And there's been clothes in the wardrobe that I can. Some of it I fit into quite nicely and actually wore to work, and some of it I'm just fitting into now. Now I actually think there's a nice couple of pairs of pants that I'll be able to actually put on for work tomorrow. So if they fit and if they work, then I'm going to take the other pants and put them in the bag ready for the Salvation Army, because I want to give obviously everything I have to the Salvation Army. So it's time now. I'm 158 kilos was the weight last Sunday, so we're about to see what it is today, and what we'll do is we'll cut to the final figure very, very shortly. Hang on, here we go. All right, 154.9, so that is from 158, 3.1 kilos lost, which actually I'm quite surprised. I thought it would have been more than that, but that's okay. It's still chugging away, so and we're still on the right track. So the interesting part's going to now be when we do all the measurements around the waist and that, because I know that's a lot less too. So 154.9, I think I'm coming close to
8.5 kilos.
Yeah,
for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so here we go. That's pretty good. 3.
Hey guys, today's weigh-in again. So I started last week at 141. I'd already lost 3 kilos, so I started this whole journey at 144. So 3 kilos last week, let's see. So I lost 2.5 kilos this week.
You're breaking the 140.
Yeah, I broke the 140, so I'm now at 5.8 kilos in 2 weeks. So that is a really good effort. I'm really, really proud of that. Today was weigh-in, and I did really well. I lost 2.3 kilos. So since we started the shakes, I've lost 5.3 kilos all up. So that's 5.3 kilos in 2 weeks. I'm really, really impressed with that.
Shabby.
Yeah, exactly. In centimeters itself, centimeters are very hard to guess if you've got them in the same spot each time. But it says I've lost 45 centimeters in total, so in the 2 weeks. So that is really, really good. Again, not holding all my bets on that one, so that's hard to tell. I did lose my first BMI. Woohoo! Michael's lost a few BMIs now, I think, but yeah, I lost my first BMI, which I was, thank goodness. So that's a big, big deal for me. Yeah, other than that, yeah, really good week.
So for me, and we've got this all on our phones and our tracker system. So for myself, total of 8.55 kilos for the 2 weeks, and that was a 3.05 kilo loss in the last 7 days. Now that was surprising to me. I actually, because the first one was so large, and I didn't feel any change. The second one I actually thought, and probably a bit falsely in my own sense of feeling, that it was going to be more. I had a suspicion it could be less, but that's cool. It's all the way it goes. I've broken the 155 mark, so I'm happy. I'm certainly not balking at that. Michelle touched on measurements before. I've lost 21 centimeters. Now, one thing we've done today, and this is something you want to remember if you're doing measurements, we actually standardized how we measure each portion, because you measure the chest, you measure the waist, you measure the hips and the thighs and the biceps and the neck, and depending on where you place the tape measure, how tight you pull the tape measure will depend on what numbers you get, and 1 centimeter difference in its tightness is nothing. It really doesn't feel like anything, so it's very easy
whereabouts up on your arm you've got it. We're trying to go in the middle, but then sometimes I think we're going a little bit further up, so it's different measurements, and so
really easy to misdo the numbers or misread the numbers. So what the rules we made on this was certain areas that the tape had to cover when going around certain parts, and the tightness of the actual tape itself. So it had to be obviously not loose enough to fall off, but not tight enough to manipulate any part of your body. So a finger should fit in there quite easily. And I think if we keep that consistency, then moving forward we'll actually get a more accurate numbers on what because we did 2 measurements on me today, and 2 measurements on Michelle, and both of them today were vastly different from each other. So previously I had lost only 13 centimeters, and now I've lost 21 centimeters. So and that's just today. So what is the true number? I don't know. I think next week will be a true number from the actual from this week, and we're just going to have to run with that as we go along, and hopefully keep that consistency as well. As Michelle said, yes, lost a BMI, lost 1 BMI, so that's 2 since we started at 50 BMI, now down to 48.
He is gunning for me, I tell you.
So yeah,
I need to up my game.
Going hard. 2 weeks down. How do we feel? How do you feel, Michelle?
I feel better. Last night I didn't even have to have my evening shake, so I'm feeling not as starving. So that's good. I didn't want to kill anyone this week, so that's, a bonus.
Yeah, I agreed. Look, this week my tolerance level was higher. I was actually didn't have to worry so much about the little things the week before. The little things just really got under my skin, so to speak. With the exception of yesterday. Yesterday was a particularly rough day. Not so much because I was hungry, but the different little bits and pieces of silly things just going wrong throughout my day was just getting on my nerves, I think, more than normal.
We all stayed our distance. Holy moly! He could have killed us!
I thank you. But, I guess you have to expect those kind of days. I'm still hungry. Yesterday we had soup for dinner, and it was a non-dairy, non-carb type of soup. It was literally tomatoes, garlic, chicken stock and thyme, and it was roasted and
it was beautiful
and simmered. That was filling. That's the first time I've had actually a filling meal, and Michelle was full enough that she didn't have her evening shake. I stayed up a little bit later, so I did have my evening shake. And it came, we had trouble estimating it because all of the calorie counting devices that we've got said it was very high in calories, but they were all sort of including it as a creamy tomato soup, so it was difficult to sort of navigate around that, and I had to do an estimate. That was the best we had to do. So we actually put some aside for another dinner next week, so that we can actually enjoy that again. And I'm actually going to make some more for after post-surgery, because it really was delicious. And we did have enough left over just to make a little bit for our post-surgery meal. And just to give you an idea of what we're expecting our meal to be, that is our meal. And I actually think that may even be a bit too much to handle. So it's so cute. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. We had to strain it a couple of times, just to make sure that there were no bits and pieces that were going to get stuck on us in the stomach. It's actually very, very important that the first couple of weeks out that we don't do anything to damage the stomach, because that means going back in for another surgery, which also means a significant amount of money when you're not insured. So
we were able to do 3 little bowls.
So
that's 3 dinners.
3 dinners, and we've actually bought these cups so that we can start making up other things for dinner. It's actually been a challenge to think, okay, so I'm allowed anything that's liquid. What does that mean? What can I have? What can I?
The dietitian did give us a little bit of a list, which
yeah.
was good, but we were just to make sure that everything was strained correctly.
Yeah. So I think I'll probably make a few more of these different types of soups, to maybe a mushroom soup that's blitzed and blended and strained, and a chicken broth style soup. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that is the 2 weeks that have been. We are now, we are now 18 days to surgery. So
we're in the teens, everyone.
18 more days of this. So yeah. Let's see what happens. I think they said you lose 10 kilos beforehand. Well, I'm well on the way, and so is Michelle. So I don't think that's going to be much of a trouble. And I think the surgeon's going to be pretty happy with the fact that we've done the diet, and the liver would have significantly shrunk, so that he can do the surgery much easier. That's the whole point. And then we continue on the road.
Yeah.
So yeah. Talk soon. Ciao.
See you guys.